Alright, so let's make another leaf, and this time let's make it a bit more complicated. And I'm gonna use the second leaf from the same drawing. Again, I'm gonna begin by outlining with the line tool. Okay, here I'm gonna trace it like this. Okay, just quickly go over the overall shape. I'm gonna slightly modify it over here. I'm not gonna make such a deep cut. And just a few more. Okay, just tweaking the shape to make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, maybe let's make this part a bit thicker. Like that. Alright, and now we're gonna add the main lines with the cut tool. First, make sure everything is set to corner, collapsed editable poly. And now let's use the cut tool to add in the main lines. The main lines usually follow the major features of the object you're trying to model. So in this case, they follow this curved shape of the leaf. Okay. Let's connect these two. And let's cut in some more detail. The pink color makes it a bit difficult to see the edges, so I'm gonna assign a different material I like using dark gray. Like this, and I find it's much easier to see where the edges are and the overall grid. Right, let's cut in some more main lines. Let's end this with a triangle. Okay, now I'm going to use the connect tool to quickly connect these vertices. I'm just using a shortcut for that now. It's much faster than going through the menu all the time. Okay, looks like we need to cut in one more edge here, just so we have somewhere to complete our edge loop. All right. Some unfinished parts over here. Let's bring this all the way to the end. And one more cut here. And now we can probably start trying to make the shape in 3D. Right, I'm just gonna add one more cut. I want to make sure there's enough detail for creating the 3D shape. If there's not enough edges, it can be quite difficult. Okay, so that's our base mesh. I'm gonna edit poly so I don't mess anything up, and I'm gonna try to modify it. Okay, let's move it out of the way of our reference image. Looks like this part is a bit higher than the rest of the object. So I'm going to try and extrude it out. Alright, maybe up to this point here, maybe even a bit less. Okay, up to here. So let's extrude it out a bit. Maybe 2 times to make a sharp crease at the start. Make a smoother transition over here at the tip. And maybe move some of the edges to modify the shape a bit. Let's move these inwards. I'm gonna select this edge loop and I'm gonna move it outwards a bit. So the result is something like this. Okay, we want to make sure this part ends nice and smooth. So we're gonna target all these vertices down here to make the transition to the extruded part very smooth and gradual. Alright. And move these vertices as well, so it's nice and smooth. Okay, let's add some more detail. And move these edges outwards a bit. And move these ones inwards to make an inwards curve or a concave curve. Actually, I think we can just weld these 3 points together. Okay, let's move these edges back a little bit. I'm trying to make it a bit more 3-dimensional by tweaking the vertices. Right, I want to see how it looks with Turbo Smooth. So first I'm gonna add another edit poly and extrude the outline backwards. Okay, first a little bit to make this edge a bit sharper, and then a bit more, and flatten it on the y-axis. Turbo Smooth, check the results. It's pretty decent except for this part over here. Looks like we need to add more detail. And I'm gonna connect and move the resulting edge loop inwards. Maybe sharpen this part a bit by moving some vertices. Okay, not enough detail here. Let's connect. Okay, like that. That's a pretty decent result. Okay, so it's not perfect, but you get the general idea. I think I want to add a crease over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select these edges and I'm going to extrude them inwards. Okay, just a tiny bit with small width. And target wall to get rid of the triangles here. And target wall on this end to make the transition a bit more gradual. Okay, and you can also smooth these to taper the transition a bit. Okay, and we have a crease there. And I also want to make a crease over here. So I'm going to select this edge loop. Actually, I'm just going to cut in some details manually. Chamfer will not work correctly in this case. So I'm just going to cut some edges close to the edge I want to make a bit sharper. Let's see what happened. And it's a bit better. I think that's going to be fine. Okay, let's add some edges over here. And finally, let's extrude again to finish up the subject. And that's a quite nice looking leaf you can use for many different ornaments. I'm just going to throw on the cap holes modifier to close the gap on the back. And you want to make these subjects with enough detail so that they look good with just one iteration of Turbo Smooth. And if you add another iteration of Turbo Smooth, it's going to quadruple the number of polys, and that's really not the thing we want if we have hundreds of these little leaves in the ornament. So make sure you make it so it can work with just one iteration of Turbo Smooth.